Welcome to this explainer. You know, losing a loved one is incredibly difficult. And honestly, when time is literally of the essence, the absolute last thing you need is a maze of state bureaucracy holding up your ability to settle their affairs.
So today, we're just going to completely bypass all that confusion. We're unlocking the secrets to obtaining this critical document effortlessly. Because understanding exactly how the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services operates is the key to reducing your stress and unlocking those essential legal processes that simply cannot wait.
Here's our roadmap. We've taken what can feel like an overwhelming process and broken it down into 6 clear, manageable steps. Importance, eligibility, documents and fees, the application process, special circumstances, and finally, what to expect next.
All right, Section 1, Importance. Why you need this document. A death certificate isn't just a piece of paper, right? It's a vital legal tool. You're going to need it for a whole host of real-life applications. If you need to open a probate case to settle an estate, claim life insurance benefits, close or transfer bank accounts, or even handle Social Security and pension benefits, you literally must have this document. And here is a critical detail to keep in mind. Institutions always require official, certified copies. A simple photocopy from your home printer? Yeah, that simply won't be accepted by banks or the Missouri Department of Revenue when you're trying to do something like transfer a vehicle title.
Moving right along to Section 2, Eligibility. Who can request it?
The state of Missouri considers these to be highly restricted vital records, so eligibility really revolves around immediate family, meaning a direct line of descent. This automatically includes a surviving spouse, parents, children, siblings, grandparents, grandchildren, and even aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews. But look closely at the exception here. First cousins are excluded from this automatic group. This is a super common pitfall. First cousins often just assume they have automatic access, but they actually require documented alternative legal pathways or proof of a legal interest to get a copy. And of course, official representatives like attorneys and funeral directors can absolutely request them on behalf of the family too. Okay, Section 3, Documents and Fees, Gathering what you need. First up, the cost. The state charges a search fee of $14 for the very first certified copy of a death certificate. It's absolutely crucial to note that this fee is essentially paying the state to perform a search for the vital record, which means it's non-refundable. If no record is found, they'll issue a statement saying so, but you won't get that $14 back. But here is a massive pro tip for you. Each additional copy ordered at the exact same time is only $11. Since you're going to need these for probate, banks, insurance, you should absolutely order maybe 3 to 10 copies right up front. Seriously, ordering them all at once saves you a tremendous amount of time, hassle, and extra fees later when you're deep in the middle of dealing with a complex estate. You also need to make sure your application doesn't get rejected over a silly ID mistake. You've got to present one valid primary form of identification, like a driver's license or a passport. Now, if you don't have a primary ID handy, Missouri does allow you to use secondary forms of ID, but you must have 2 of them. This could be a combination of a Medicaid or Medicare card, a recent utility bill with your name and address on it, or a W-2 payroll stub showing your Social Security number. Having the exact right identification ready to go will save you from some seriously frustrating delays.
Let's dive into Section 4, the application process, step by step. Now, what's really interesting here is we get to pull back the curtain and look at the actual physical paperwork. Seeing this Missouri DHSS application form really helps dial back the anxiety of dealing with state bureaucracy. It's actually quite straightforward. You have sections to clearly state if you want a birth or death certificate, the total fee you're enclosing, the deceased's details like their full name and date of death, and then your own applicant info. Notice that huge bold text near the bottom? That's a friendly reminder to enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope and your fees. And right at the very bottom, there's a dedicated space for a notary public's embosser seal and signature, which actually brings us to a really important requirement. So you basically have 3 ways to submit this form. First is in person at a local health agency. This is almost always the fastest method if you need copies urgently. You just walk in with your ID and paperwork. Second, you can order online through authorized third-party vendors, like VitalCheck or Vital Records Online. Super convenient for sure, but keep in mind they are going to charge their own processing fees on top of the state's fees. Finally, there's the mail-in option, sending it directly to the Missouri DHSS. If you choose to mail it, you absolutely must get your signature notarized. Forgetting to visit a notary public, which, by the way, you can easily find at local banks or UPS stores, is literally the most common crucial mistake that gets mail-in applications rejected.
It's also super helpful to contrast where exactly you're sending or taking this request. Local health departments, like the St. Louis County Office of Vital Records or the Polk County Health Center, are fantastic for urgent in-person requests. However, the state office, the Missouri DHSS, located in Jefferson City, well, they're the central hub responsible for maintaining the entire statewide death registry. So mail-in requests go directly to Jefferson City, and they are the ultimate issuer of these legal death certificates for events anywhere within the state. All right, moving into Section 5, Special Circumstances, Edge Cases. Let's cover a couple of less common situations, just so we've got all our bases covered. First, if your loved one passed away outside of Missouri, Missouri Vital Records simply cannot help you. You're going to need to apply to the appropriate state's Vital Records Department, which you can easily track down through the National Center for Health Statistics. Second, there is the fascinating, albeit tragic situation of presumptive deaths. If someone has been missing from the state for 5 successive years and their body cannot be located, they are legally presumed dead. But the state isn't just going to hand over a certificate. It requires a strict legal process culminating in a certified court order instructing the Bureau of Vital Records to actually establish that certificate of death.
And finally, Section 6, Local versus State and Follow-up. What to expect next.
Right now, processing times for a Missouri death certificate are sitting at about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the method you chose to request it. Keep in mind, mail processing times are typically a bit longer than online or in-person requests. Because of this 4 to 6 week window, if you're applying by mail, I highly advise purchasing tracking for your envelope. That way, you've got total peace of mind knowing exactly when your sensitive documents and payment arrived safely in Jefferson City. Just as a quick wrap-up, please keep in mind, government policies and procedures can and do change, so always verify the latest details and fees directly on the official Missouri DHSS website before proceeding. Armed with all this knowledge, which application route makes the most sense for your family right now? Don't wait. Get those documents in order today so you can focus on what truly matters. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and take care.